Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Highruler. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Suicide Squad. Now, I haven't made a video about Suicide Squad in just about a week now, and frankly, that's been because there's been nothing to talk about. We haven't had a release date for episode 2. There's really been nothing to be said about it. But today we do have some more information, including a release date. Now, this came after the blog went out, and we're going to talk about the blog because it does have some interesting stuff here when it comes to episode 2. But there was a lack of a release date there. Now, a lot of people I was talking to at the time basically were kind of flabbergasted that this happened, right? Because I think a lot of people are kind of worried about the state of the game. We're obviously way past schedule when it comes to what was supposed to be the release of episode 2. And if you guys haven't really been connected to the community right now, a lot of people are speculating that it is now a skeleton crew, right? And it's hard not to disagree with them because everything does kind of point to a skeleton crew working on this game. I've said as much, and many other people are saying as much. And these rumors do kind of spread quite quickly, especially when there's nothing to suggest that they are fake, right? So when we look at what's been going on, it does seemingly look like that Rocksteady has kind of moved on. And what we do have now is a small group that is kind of pushing through these updates as quick as they can. But, you know, I think there's a big difference between a full studio working on a game and a small subsection of a studio working on a game, right? So after the blog came out and a lot of people were upset, I had actually posted a tweet basically saying that, you know, this is kind of unbelievable. And once again, you know, it just seems like as a fan of this game, we're kind of getting dicked around a little bit. And then lo and behold, right after I tweet that, like literally 2 minutes after I tweet that, they go and drop the release date. Now, it's kind of interesting because obviously the release date is next week, but the question then remains, why didn't they put this in the dev update, right? Some people have speculated that because they weren't actually sure a couple of hours ago if they were actually able to kind of lock in that release date, right? Which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But maybe that actually is the case. They weren't actually able to lock in the release date for the developer blog and they had to wait. And maybe they were thinking they could drop that kind of news next week, early next week, if at all possible. Or maybe they would drop it depending on whenever that release date actually was going to be. Now, obviously, May 23rd, a week from today, is good news. I think obviously, we want to look at this with a glass half full approach as best we can. And obviously, when I look at episode 2, it does seem like that's a good update. Obviously, though, when we talk about updates, we have to talk about some of the more bigger things, right? And I think, unfortunately, episode 2 won't actually touch on what a lot of people want, right? Which is good quality story content, which is more kind of, you know, fleshed out kind of cutscenes, right? A lot of people were kind of upset that we got, you know, those comic book cutscenes in episode 1. And I think a lot of people are going to be kind of upset that this really doesn't feel like a update worth waiting 9 weeks for or 8 weeks for or whatever it was, right? And I think that's all fair. But I think when you look at what the game is today, right? And I think that's the big thing is when you look at what the game is today versus what the game was promised as. Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, what it was promised as, definitely disappointing, unfortunate, not great. When you look at kind of what the game is, you know, you just kind of take it in stride, unfortunately, right? And I think it's kind of the way you have to approach Suicide Squad nowadays. And a lot of people, that's not going to be their jam, not going to be their jelly. Totally cool. Is what it is. But for me, I'm hoping that episode 2, from everything that they've talked about, will actually be good. So let's actually break down the latest blog and what they're talking about with episode 2. Okay, so they start off by saying, hello, people of Metropolis. Episode 2 is almost here. And alongside will come a slew of new loot to hunt for. For this developer update, we wanted to deep dive into the new Two-Face Infamy set alongside its new associated mechanics. Now, they've actually been posting on Twitter a bunch of new loot over the past couple of days to a couple of weeks. And some of it has ranged from, yeah, this is like really cool, to some of it's been pretty meh, right? So it seems like today they're going to actually break down kind of the expectation, what we should be expecting from this loot, and hopefully, you know, kind of start theory crafting towards what we're going to be building towards for that new grind that we're going to be doing, right? So let's talk about Punish. And one of the main features of the Two-Face Infamy set is Punish, a new status effect that will have you delivering justice, unhinged criminal style. The effect reads as follows. Punish enemies 50% increase critical hit damage. Each firearm hit on punished enemies has a 50% critical hit chance while they are burning. Now, once again, you know, this does sound like a big Joker thing right here. And it would be nice if my Joker's fixed, so when this comes out, I can play the Joker and take advantage of Punish. At a base level, this is already a powerful effect when taken full advantage of. By combining weapons that apply Diablo Blaze and that benefit from crits, you can deliver some seriously high damage. The Joker and Deadshot are the clear favorites already with their penchant for burning and critical hits respectively, but that is just the beginning of what Punish can do. Two-Face. The manufacturer augment for Two-Face firearms reads as follows. Successful critical reloads trigger Judgment for the next 10 seconds. While Judgment is active, critical hits with this firearm punish enemies. With good timing and good aiming, this effect alone will keep all enemies around you punished, meaning that you can activate the rest of the tier 1 set. One piece bonus. Each hit you take has a 50% chance of punishing the enemy that hit you. Two-Face bonus. Each time you punish an enemy, you regenerate 10% shield. Two-piece bonus. Every 10 seconds, heads or tails alternate as active effects. While heads is active, you deal 1,250% more damage to burning enemies. While tails is active, melee hits have a 100% chance of burning enemies. I really like that, actually. That's really cool. Two-Face bonus. Critical hits on burning enemies deal an additional 250% damage, and you take 50% less damage from burning enemies. Wow. Three-piece bonus. Killing burning enemies has a 50% chance of causing a fiery explosion that burns enemies within 25 meters. Two-Face bonus. Increases critical hit chance by 100% on enemies that are both punished and burning. Then they go on to say the tier 1 bonuses for the Two-Face's Infamy set revolve entirely around punishing and burning, making for a simple but devastatingly powerful combo. This Infamy set is one of the simpler episode 2 sets to play, made around the heads or tails buff. Once you find the rhythm, you'll find a cadence of setting enemies on fire, then capitalizing on this by doing bonus damage to burning enemies. We hope you'll also appreciate the defensive options that this set enables, especially on higher mastery levels. I mean, honestly, what it sounds like to me is that fire is back on the menu. Like, I know a lot of people, when they initially fixed fire, right, or blaze, whatever we call it, a lot of people switched off, right? I think a lot of people went to freeze, and then a lot of people went to the electricity, and then obviously, at the start of this season, Venom was kind of, knocked back a lot of pegs here. And now it seems like after they kind of did some more tweaking to Diablo Blaze, and now they're putting out this whole set, which revolves around, obviously, Blaze, and now it seems like it's going to revolve around the Joker even more so. It seems like if you're not playing 1, the Joker, 2, Deadshot, or 3, Diablo Blaze whatsoever, it does seem like, unfortunately, you are going to fall behind a little bit. But what I can say, though, is that this set, just off the rip here, it does sound fun, right? And I think that's one of the things about this game is that these gear sets and the things that they're doing have to sound fun. And from everything they've said so far about episode 2, remember, glass half full, it does seem like this episode is going to be a lot of fun. So we'll have to wait and see because, if everything, goes off the way they want it to, it does seem like this will actually be a really cool update. Then, for the last little bit here, Green Lantern infused enemies. Brainiac has developed his power over the Justice League DNA yet further and has gained the ability to create Green Lantern-infused forces. These tricky enemies are able to summon Green Lantern constructs, tuning up the pressure on the squad. To cap it all off, Green Lantern-infused enemies are immune to all direct damage until their constructs have been destroyed, meaning you'll need the target prioritization game to be on point when tackling them. And then they go on to say that's it for this week's developer update. But a couple of things here. Anyone who thinks that the Justice League is dead in this universe, I mean, right here, they kind of give it away a little bit, right? Obviously, Brainiac is tinkering with their DNA. Who's to say he's not making clones of them, right? And now, obviously, he's able to kind of create, like, Green Lantern constructs and the rest of it. So it's obviously, just being said right here on the blog that what we killed were clones, right? So I think to that point, this kind of reinforces that theory, that idea that we didn't actually kill the real Justice League. But once again, obviously, what we have here at episode 2 does sound very cool. Everything that they've talked about sounds really fun. But once again, it's a little weird that they never capped this off with a release date, even though they gave us one a couple hours later. To me, it just sounds like they weren't really ready to release the release date. And then all of a sudden they were ready, right? So speculate away, talk about it away. Obviously, something happened there within those couple of hours. But what I will say, though, is that I'm just happy we have release date. We can put that behind us. Honestly, guys, this game, as I've said before, isn't going to make the huge comeback, isn't going to turn it all around. Just enjoy it for what it is. If you're able to find fun within this gameplay loop and you're able to enjoy it, have fun, enjoy it. Because, I mean, it is what it is at this point, right? It's obviously not what a lot of people wanted from many different people, from the Arkhamverse people, from some looter people, from people who want a more robust endgame. It doesn't seem like this game is hit for many different people, but if it has hit for you and you enjoy it, just enjoy it. And we got more content content coming next week, May 23rd. So with that being said, guys, I'll see you guys next time here. If you guys enjoyed this, you want more Suicide Squad content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a nice little comment. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. As always, make sure you guys enjoy the rest of the day and the night. Take care, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.